Hey guys, welcome to Last Chance Diesel Repair. I'm Justin, and we're back in the Tabernacle Mack. Let's go through the cab and see what we can do. I just wanted to do a little explanation in the last video there. A couple things that might not have been super apparent. When we were hooking the batteries up, we did try hooking them up a couple different ways, a couple different times. And no matter what, we were getting a lot of sparks and the cables were getting really hot. It was also making some really funny noises down here by the starter. So what we did is we opted to pull start it. The reason it wasn't filmed is because I did not want my poor wife to ride around in the cab of this old truck all over the property. It is a rough ride. I probably should have filmed it myself, guys, but I had my hands full. We were going all through the place. There's people around, things like that, so we couldn't film it. Basically, we had to pull it all over to get fuel up to the injection pump up here. And once we got it running, then it runs fine. Now, as for the electrical side, an old truck driver who actually run a truck very similar to this when he was in high school, because you could do that back in the day, looked at the batteries, looked at me, called me a fucking idiot and said, these are 6-volt batteries and they're the biggest 6-volt batteries that you've ever seen. So I said, yes, I am stupid, and my apprentice said the same thing. So we hooked it up the way he said. We still had a lot of sparks and a noise down by the starter. So we had to give it the old shillelagh treatment here. And then it saw things our way, and now it actually starts quite well. At all the trucks in the shop, it actually starts the best, including trucks that are like 2020, if you can believe that. And we will put a clip in of it starting under its own battery power. So guys, in this episode, we're gonna basically do an inspection of the cab. I think it's absolutely hoopa-jooped, but we don't know. The same goes for underneath. So my friend, the truck driver that told us how to wire this thing properly, made a very good point. The way the cab is braced, he suspects that what was happening was this truck was getting loaded in a log landing and they were taking off in probably second or even third gear, and this is only a 6-speed. So when that happens, the whole truck torques up like this, and they would maintain that until they got up onto hard pack. That's very hard on a truck. These trucks, the frames were not built to the way some of the more modern trucks are. He suspects that that is why the cab's braced. More than likely, all the braces underneath are going to be broke or patched or even rotten. And probably the cross members underneath are probably going to be much the same. So we're going to go through that. We're also going to go through and see, as you can see, there's a lot of body fill on this cab. I think it had a professional body job done, but I'm suspecting it was probably in the late 80s, early 90s, judging by the pinstriping. And actually the color of the body fill, apparently I'm told, was a thing back in the late 80s, early 90s. They did something with the body fill. But anyway, so we're gonna go through it. As you can see, this door's been patched. It's not a bad job. However, the body fill is incredibly thick. I don't want to pull too hard because I don't want to ruin the door. So the body fill here over top of this patch is extremely thick. I think it was to actually bring it up to match this. So we're going to check it basically with a body shillelagh. What's happened is whoever's done this body job, instead of piecing steel in and trying to make it correct, has gone over it very quickly. So this was either done by a very talented amateur or a body shop that was just trying to get it in and get it out. It's hard to say. We don't know what this whoever did it was working with, so. So this is all rotten. You can see where they've tried to cover it up. They can see where they've tried to seal it here. We did actually find a tube of sealant up in the truck. That's likely where this come from. I'm suspecting by looking at this, they patched this correctly and then they skipped out here. They brought all this mud up here to kind of match this, because this is really thick. So that's likely some of the untouched steel. And as you can see, it is very, very thick. And this is reminiscent to the style of body fill that was used in that time period, the late 80s, early 90s. The cab corner is another very important spot, much like a pickup. As you can see, it is all body fill. There's a little bit that's here. Yeah. Where the pinch of coon shit. That steel's awfully thin. So that's the outside of the cab. We did go through the inside of it, and we do have stuff laid out on this table here. Okay guys, so I got you snipped in here, and this is the bracing that I was talking about right here by my boot. So that is not factory, and you can see on the kick panel, they've done an awful lot of patching and welding and dicking around and whatnot. They've also added another brace right here. That is not factory. As you can see on the other side, much the same. So you have to picture this truck taking off with a load of logs weighing Lord knows how much in third gear, or second, whatever. It would have been torqued up just like a pretzel. So this is the other part of it, the floor, which I kind of figured is rotten. The floors of these trucks always rot. If you ever are looking at a truck, be it a Mack, a Louisville, a Ford, you know, whatever, by the throttle pedal and the brake pedal. Wet, muddy boots. Does it every time. So the floor's rotten here. This is where the driver's feet would be. And we'll get you on the other side, but in and around there, around the front, all rotten. Now, this floor pan can actually come out, and surprisingly, it's not in too bad a shape over here. It's just where the driver's feet were. I figured the whole thing was going to be just fucked, but it's not in too bad a shape. This is back when they actually made trucks to be maintained, and they were, you know, actually thought of the technician. They didn't want him to go out back and, you know, slam his hand in a waffle iron because he's so frustrated. And even here, the panel that's rotten, as you can see, that panel actually comes out so you can access your treadle valve, because the cab on a Mack is very, very low to the frame. They did that for driver comfort. Okay guys, so I brought you around here to the other side. You can see here, holes all around the brake treadle valve. There's the access panel. More the same bracing. The other thing, I don't know who did this, but if you can see that. Focus, you fuck. They've actually brazed, so this patch is very old. They've brazed in metal. So they've just kept brazing and brazing and brazing to fill this hole. And it looks like they've brought it up and around here. So the whole patch is broke loose. So this is probably some bush mechanic was just trying to keep the old girl together. Yeah. Again, like much the same here. Rotten. Here, really heavy body fill. I can already hear people, don't do that. Well, it's too bad. It's fine. Oh yeah. No, she's done. And it's got some rot up there. There's another one of those patches to keep the cab from flexing. No. Probably gonna have to look for another cab, so I'm gonna grab a light and get underneath and we'll check those cross members. This is the other panel here. I think they call it the cowl. As you can see, it's all broken here, all the way on up. Yeah. You can see that cross member's cracked. And then up around the cab mount, I don't know if it's coming through, but yeah, she's broke pretty good. So this has been flexing pretty bad. Much like we thought. Now the other side's a little harder to see because of the fuel tank, but this side's, you guys get the idea. She's fucked. So here we are underneath the Mack, and bingo bango. My old truck driving buddy was right. There's a cross member broke. This one on the other side's been patched. It's broke again here. Yeah, the poor old girl is probably just twisting up like a pretzel trying to get that load of logs out of here. So we're just gonna roll backwards and check the other one. Bam. Broke. Oh, that side's mint though. Oh, pinion seal's leaking. Oh well. So it's nothing that can't be fixed. However, it's it does kind of shed a little bit of light on the old truck's history. And this will be pretty easy to get to when the cab's off anyway, because we're gonna have to take the cab off. As you can see from the other side there, she's broke right on through. Old school air dryer. See, that crack's actually been welded before and it's broke again. And another crack up here. And keep in mind, like, this is a difficult thing to fix in the bush, especially in the truck. Like, we don't know how this mechanic was fixing this, but I imagine he probably was not in the best environment doing it. And the frame's jacking, but we'll fix that. Here we are under the driver's side cab mount. This one's actually not that bad. This one's not bad, but it has been patched. It's definitely been fixed. And up there now. So the structural integrity is gone out of the cab. A good like sheet metal tech or someone could probably fix this, but we're not gonna do that. We'll have to make some phone calls and see if I can track down another cab. Oh well. Hey guys, so the moment you're all been waiting for, we're gonna start it up on our own power. So we keep the batteries unhooked for safety's sake so it doesn't catch fire, because Lord knows what's shorted out in this old truck. I don't smell too many mouse nests in there, but there was a little bit of evidence. So I get asked a lot by guys, how come I don't use a ratchet or some other type of faster tool to hook these battery cables up? I always use the open end like this. The reason being is a very old mechanic once caught me using a ratchet and socket and slapped me in the back of the head and said, if that shorts out, the truck's gonna burn down. Always use the open end of a wrench, because if it shorts, you can knock it out of the way. And it's just been a habit I've stuck to ever since. So look at that, guys. She wants to go back to work. Her beacon lights are already staying on. Hey guys, so there she is. Starts under her own power after Lord knows how many years. The bills of lading there say 1997, 95. It's got a float permit from 1995 for $16. So we don't know if it worked in the bush. But she's definitely led a really rough life, and this is probably the first start that she's had in a very, very long time off that starter. So we're gonna need a cab. I'm gonna have to make some phone calls, start calling some wrecking yards, see what I can find, and yeah. So now I got my work cut out for me. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff that these hip YouTube guys say. I don't know, so.